I think there are a lot of videos like this already that exist, but I feel like this video will stand out because it's coming from the perspective of someone who makes sequential art, comics, manga. I've literally produced a few manga series like Apple Black, Purpose and Serialized, and Saturday AM, and I'll go over that with more details towards the end of the video. Hey guys, Whyt here, and in this video we're going to be going back to the basics on how to draw faces, especially for anime and manga styles. I'm going to be drawing a basic female face and a male face. I'm going to start with a male over here. The usual that you see in most tutorials. I'll try to do things that you guys would be used to make it easier for y'all, and we're starting here with a circle. I'm not trying to be too perfect with it, and I'm being light with the strokes of the pencil, giving room for any mistakes or things like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but once you're done with the circle, now I'm trying to create that jawline. Starting from the left, making sure the actual tip is not too sharp. That's the tip of the jaw, not too sharp. It's like this blend of curvy and pointy, but not too pointy. At the end of the day, I guess it depends on your style. You might want it to be very pointy jaws and pointy noses and all of that, but my style is a little more realistic and subtle, so I don't do that often. And now I draw the cross, the lines that go across. Think of them as guidelines to just let me know where some of the facial features are going to be placed and where the character is facing. So the line that goes across is kind of like an eye line, and then from where it hits, it kind of hits where the lines that connect the jaw and the circle connect. And I use there to start drawing the ear, and then where the ear ends, I draw another line across to let me know where the ear ends on the other side. That way both ears are the same size or the same height, and then I put that together. Ears, very basic shapes. Again, you kind of want to make everything a little organic when you draw it. At first it could be a little rigid, but then you can throw some extra sketch lines to make it seem a little more organic, and that will come from your experience looking at actual ears and things like that. Now I'm drawing the eyebrows. The eyebrows to me kind of start within that first box on the right, and they don't go across, they don't go above that line. They're usually not higher than the ear, at least in my style. Obviously people have different faces and there isn't one rule for everyone, but I try to keep the eyebrows within that space, not going over that line but going above it. And then the eyes again will go in the line that goes across in the middle that I call the eye line. And then I just do a nice organic looking shape for both of them. I try to make it as symmetrical as possible, but in some cases that might not be what you're going for. You know, you look at it, sometimes it's good to step back and just make sure everything's looking good. And then for the nose, I'm keeping it really simple. The character is looking head on, so I'm just going to draw a line that goes across. I'm just going to draw a line, a straight little short line, and then two smaller lines, kind of just dots to symbolize where the nostril is going to be. And then where the jaws start to bend and come together, I have a line that goes across, and that's where I put my mouth. Then I have subtle organic lines above the mouth and below the mouth to indicate the upper lip and the lower lip respectively. Now for the eyes, the line above for the eyes are usually a little thicker to indicate where eyelashes are. With males, I don't like to have them be too thick. I reserve that for the females, at least within my style. You guys, again, have freedom to do whatever you want. You can have a male character that wears maybe a little more makeup, and then you can justify those kind of decisions. Then at the top, I have a line again that goes across. It just lets me know where his hairline is. And again, this character here is pretty much the standard type of character. Nothing too overwhelming, very simple, and I think this is a nice place to start when you're learning. This isn't a hair tutorial, but just bonus tips. There is a hair growth starting point where the hair kind of grows in directions, and they're usually facing that direction the whole time, and then anything in the other area will just be going in the opposite direction, at least to a degree. And that's how we're doing these spikes over here. And then we do a little bit of the ear. I have a line that just goes just like that, and a bump over there. Sometimes you can see creators that take a lot of liberties when they're drawing ears in their style, but this is kind of like how I put it together. Again, I want to keep this video pretty basic. I don't want to go over too much, but I might have future videos that go into more detail on drawing hair, ears, and a few other things. See, I just put in the neck, usually in the middle of each side of the jaw, maybe a little closer to the edges of the jaw, but I erase that to show you that maybe if the character was a little more muscular, the neck would be much thicker, but looks weird because I didn't have that intent when I was putting the character together. If I was going to do that, I would have made his jaw maybe a little wider, a little stronger, a little more manlier, if you will. The lines just closer to the edge, and closer to the point at which they kind of converge and start to come together. And those lines are just to indicate where his throat and Adam's apple and all that kind of stuff will be. And for the most part, this is done. I think it's really good to have a strong base when you're trying to learn how to draw, especially with this anime manga style, and then we can kind of grow from here. Right, this is a nice place to start. If you're able to pull this off, then it's much easier for you to kind of develop from here. I'm kind of starting a whole new basic drawing anime manga style playlist while making videos, some of which I've made before, but now we're going to be doing updated versions of those videos, at least on the drawing side. And I might do the same thing for my writing videos as well, for those who want to create their own manga or anime or stories or whatever. And if you're a long-time subscriber of this channel, you can leave in the comments what videos you would like to see me remake. Going again with my subtle circle, so we have the same starting points both for the male and the female faces. There'll be subtle differences, at least in my manga/anime drawing style, that will be very evident as we go along. But again, starting off with that circle, and eventually once you start to develop, you would be able to skip this step and be able to draw faces and tougher angles and things of that nature. But here, putting in the jaw again, for females, I like them to be a little more pointy, but again, still not completely to a point. You wouldn't want to be cutting oranges with it. It's just very subtle, sharper than the male jaw. Again, we have that line that goes across, the eye line, and then the line that goes straight across vertically. That just lets us know that the character is looking straight on. And maybe in future videos, when we draw characters from different angles facing different areas, you will see how those lines change. Same deal, from that line that goes across, we start to put in the ear, and from where the ear ends, we use that first ear to make sure that the other ear is in its correct place. Here, if I'm drawing just a regular lady, nothing too crazy, I'll have her drawn with a thinner neck, at least in my style. Again, figuring that eyebrow where it's going to be, I try to make sure the eyebrow is not higher than that line, and I just try to replicate the same thing with some sense of symmetry on the other side. Then those lines just indicate where the bridge of the nose is going to begin. Then I have this vertical line to indicate where the nose is going to be, and already you kind of know what's going to happen. Now for the eye here, it's going to be like drawing a circle, but having the lines show for just part of the top and part of the bottom. And then for the female here, in my style at least, I'm drawing her with much bigger eyes. Nothing too crazy. My style is a little more realistic than traditional especially old school anime and manga. So here I will have the eyes be a little bigger, but not too crazy. And here sometimes with the nose, you can see people in their style, they'll do a little triangle, but we're not going to do that. So there are many ways to draw noses, and maybe I'll have a video on that. Again, just a little line, and then two more lines, just let us know where the nostrils are. There are people who skip the whole nostril altogether. Again, that might be for you. We have the line that goes across, again, just letting us know where the mouth is going to be, and that line kind of starts where the jaw kind of starts to come together. And here with the mouth, I'm going to make it much smaller. And if you notice with the way I draw mouths, they have these curves to them in my style, but you know, you can have like a nice little dash if your style is much more simplistic. But in my style, I like to have these curves a little more, make it appear more like an organic mouth. And then we do all the other touches. Now we're gonna have the lines that go above and the eyes much thicker. Here, you know, maybe she's put on a lot more makeup, so the lines above, in my style at least, to indicate the eyelashes are much thicker. And then we have these little dashes. You can put as many as you want, but just be consistent. I like to keep them very similar on both ends. Again, some sense of symmetry. And then once you're done with that, we can then figure out where the eyeball is going to be. When I draw the eyeball, same with the male, I try to make sure that the top of the iris is touching the top eyelash. And I just keep that consistent. It just looks much more organic and realistic. When someone's looking at you, the eyeball is usually not just floating right in the middle, not touching anything. Then I figure out the hairline. Now I'm giving her some bangs, and I just have subtle, very irregular, organic shapes to kind of let me know how the hair is going to be before I actually put in strokes to indicate hair strands. Having some hair fall where the sideburns would be. Here I'm just trying to figure out the shape and then doing some erasing so we can see better, because now all those guidelines, we don't need them as much. And I'm just drawing out lines to let me know what the hair is doing. And we can see that unlike the male character, where her hair kind of starts to grow, it's growing in the opposite direction from the male character, at least for this version of her hairstyle. And so I'm just having all these lines just to give me a good vibe, let me know what's going on with the character's hair. And then the lines to indicate where her throat would be and stuff like that. I'd like, with females at least, like to have them be a lot more subtle. Here I'm going to be placing her pupil. That's just a little black dot. And I always try to put that in my style. Again, there's some styles out there drawing eyes. You can take a lot of liberties, especially within anime and manga. But if you're trying to be realistic, there's always usually some kind of pupil in there. Again, having a little white circle there to indicate where the highlights in her eyes are going to be. And I do this for both characters. It kind of just makes the character pop a whole lot more. I'm shading the top side of the eyes, and I'm doing the same thing for him. And maybe I'll give her a little more highlights. Female characters in anime and manga tend to, for whatever reason, have more highlights in the eyes, especially if the eyes are like really big. So it's up to you what you want to do. So I'm just going to be playing with that here. I don't always do it. Just shading just to indicate that that's going to be the back of her hair. For stuff like this, videos that go into more detail about drawing scarves, exactly how the ear is going to be drawn, several ways to draw eyes. I had a video that did that as well, and it explored how other main characters or popular characters from other series drew their eyes. There isn't one way to do anything, especially anime and manga, so feel free to take as many liberties as you see fit. Gonna be putting some clothes on him, have like a little nice collar, and then I'll put in a tie, but have the tie be a little loose. Give your mans a little more character, feel me? I feel like the back to the basic videos will be necessary for a couple of you who maybe want to really learn from scratch and put all this kind of stuff together. And I think you guys would appreciate the playlist and how it's going to develop moving forward. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you stay notified each time I update the playlist or make any videos moving forward. Now with her hair, I actually didn't like how her hair came out. Usually when you create that head shape, that round shape for her head, here it has a little bump. But again, it doesn't matter because once I put hair over it, no one's going to kind of see all that. So this is just so we know that the hair is going to be higher than where her bald head begins. And I'm just going to do something different for the hair. And having simple shapes. Just let me know what the hair is going to be doing before I go in any detail with more lines to indicate hair strands. Give it a little nice diamond-shaped earrings, kind of just floating. Again, more lines to indicate what's going on. And just having her have longer hair that's just falling down. And hopefully with the playlists I create, you guys will be able to do this without using as many guidelines. But I like to start with the guidelines right now. Again, starting with the basics. Hopefully you guys appreciate these kind of videos, and hopefully new people coming to the channel would appreciate what's going on here. Sometimes you can have hair cover one side of the ear, as we're going to see on her right side. And so we're not going to have to worry about drawing her right ear, at least from our view. So it's almost like we're thinking in layers. We had to draw the ear, at least in the beginning, because we didn't know what the hair was going to do. And I had no idea what I was going to do with the hair. But now that I do, that's done. Now we can erase a little more of the lines, and I'm going to use my Spectrum Noir art liner pens to ink a little bit, make it seem a little more final, make it feel more manga, I guess. And I made her eyebrows a little thicker, just a little thicker, and had these little subtle strokes just to indicate that she had somewhat bushy eyebrows, giving her a little more character. The earrings, bushy eyebrows, different kind of hairstyle, just making her a little more full-fledged. I put in just subtle lines above her eye to indicate eyelids. It's up to you whether you want to continue to do that. That's completely up to you. I also put 3 subtle eyelash lines at the bottom of her eyes, just to indicate, you know, a little more makeup, longer lashes, makes her come off as a little more feminine. I think that's all for now to start this new playlist. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Leave a comment if there are certain tutorials like this that you would like to see from me specifically. And please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. United States, to smash that subscribe button and hit that bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. Links to find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Whyt Manga. Everything will be linked in the description. There are 2.5 people that made it to the end of this video. Here you go. 2 free months of Skillshare, also linked in the description. More details on how to read my comic, Apple Black, will be in the description as well. It's Whyt Manga, and stay safe, guys. It's crazy out here.